नंबर।
अच्छा, एक बार पढ़ेंगे तो
हाँ
एक
हाँ,
रिवाइज करेंगे।
एक बार पढ़ेंगे सर।
हाँ। षट्कोना चित्रकोणाच त्रिनेत्र त्रिपुर सुंदरी वृषप्रिया वृषारूढ़ा महिषासुरघातिनी शुभदर्पहरा दीप्ता दीप्त पावक सन्निभा कपाल भूषणा काली कपाल मालधारिणी कपाला कुंडला दीर्घा शिवदूति धनध्वनि सिद्धिदा बुद्धिदा नित्या सत्यमार्ग प्रबोधिनी कुंभग्रीवा वसुमती छत्र छाया कृतालया जगत गर्भा कुंडलिनी भुजगाकारशायिनी रोलसत सप्त पद्माच नाभिनाल मृणालिनी मूलाधार निराकारा वैन्यकुंड कृतालया वायुकुंड सुखासीना निराधार निराशया शासुर शासु गतिर्जीवा शासु शासुर गतिर्जीवा। ये पेज खत्म हो गया।
हाँ, मुझे लगता है।
जीवा ग्राहिणी वन्य संश्रेया।
हाँ,
यहाँ
बस
तक
इधर तक
काफी है
पढ़ो।
आज।
हाँ हाँ हाँ।
षटकोना चित्रकोणाच।
Shatkona. Shat, 6, Kona are the edges. So Shatkona is a hexagon. So Devi is called as Shatkona. Shatkona, we know in the Tantric symbology, is formed by the intersection of two triangles which interlock with each other, wherein the triangle which is facing upwards represents the Shiva, and the triangle that faces downwards represents the Devi. So Shatkona is a perfect union of Shiva and Shakti. So this is the Shiva Shakti Samarasya Bhava is brought out by the Shatkona. So Shatkona. At the same time, in her Swarupa as the Vimarsha Shakti, she is Trikona. The three konas, the speciality of a triangle, even from a geometrical point of view, is that next to sphere, that is the next shape that can be created by extending the sphere. We all know that the sphere is the most stable structure because of the least surface tension it has. That is why all the heavenly bodies are spherical. And sphere in our symbology represents completeness because it is Anadi and Ananta. You will never know which is the starting point and the ending point in a circle. That is why in almost all the yantras, the central position is occupied by the Bindu. Bindu is the sphere or the spherical or the circle. And when we extend the sphere into the next possible shape, the first possibility we have is a triangle. Triangle, therefore, represents where from the during the Srishti Krama, when the Parashiva decides to exhibit himself or present or manifest himself into many, the Jeshtha, Vama and the Raudri Shaktis are first to come, and then it is followed by the Icha. They are nothing but the manifestations of his Icha, Jnana and the Kriya. So the Trikona, the vertices of the Trikona represents the Jeshtha, Vama and the Raudri Shaktis. So Trikona is the genesis of creation. That is why Trikona is also symbolizing the Yoni. When we write in the Brahmi script, to some extent in the Sharda also, the A or the Yoni Bija is written in a triangular fashion. That is why the coded word for the Bijakshara is Yoni, because it is the source of all creation. So Trikona represents Devi as the creation or the source of all the creation, or just as the Brahma Sutra says, Janmadhyasya Yataha, from whom Janma Adi, the creation, the sustenance, the dissolution, and all the other Panchakrityas takes place, from whom all these spring forth. That, the source of that is the Vimarshatmaka Shakti, who is in Samarasya with the Prakasha. So that factor is represented by Trikona and Shatkona. The next nama is
Trinetra.
Trinetra. Normal understanding is very simple, one who has 3 eyes. But when we see what the 3 eyes represent, there are many places where we get the proof that the right and the left eye represents the sun and the moon, and the third eye on the forehead represents the fire. Now, what are they? In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a discussion wherein the discussion happens as to what helps us to see in the daytime. It is the sun, comes the answer. Then he says, okay, what when the sun sets? Then he says, it is the moon. Then the next question the student asks, he says, okay, what about on a new moon day, on an Amavasya, when there is no moon? He says, fire. And the discussion goes on. So what does the sun, moon, and the fire stand for? They stand for by those elements by which the cognition takes place. That is why in our Puja Krama also, the Adhara Mandalas are always Agni Mandala. On the top, we have the Surya Mandala. On the top, we have the Soma Mandala. These 3 represents the types of cognition that takes place in the Jagrat, Swapna, and the Sushupti. That is the waking state, the dream state, and in the third state. Okay, the deep sleep state. And there are multiple layers of interpretations of the types of cognition. In all that Prakasha is constant. It's the state which is changing, but the cognition itself is the same, because there is no difference between the cognition, cognizer, and the cognized as per our system. So, Trinetra, one who has the 3 eyes. So there is one entity who is leading through these 3 functioning, through in the waking, in the dream, in the deep sleep, but she is one. Okay, so Trinetra. The word netra is from the dhatu ni na, to lead. So why is it that the eye is called as a netra? Because it helps a person lead a normal life wherein he can cognize objects. And we all know amongst the 5 types of cognition, the visual cognition is the most important. For the others, the object have to come and reach the senses. For example, if you have to know something by taste, then that particular object has to come and touch the tongue. Similarly, if you want to feel something, the object has to come and touch the skin, and so forth. But it is the visual wherein, even though there is no necessity for a direct contact between the object and the sense organ, still the cognition takes place. That is why most of our cognition is visual in nature. So netra is that which helps us lead a proper life through the form of cognition that takes place. And extending the meaning of netra to cognition itself, Trinetra, the 3 states in which cognition occurs. Because after that, in the Turiya and the Turiyatita, the difference between the cognizer and the cognized is no longer there. Therefore, we don't treat it as a process or as a separate process by itself. So, Trinetra. Next nama is
Tripurvasini. Tripurvasini.
Tripura
Sundari.
Tripura Sundari.
Tripura Sundari.
Sundari. Tripura Sundari is one of the most well-known or sought-after form of Devi, one amongst the 10 Mahavidyas. She is also known as the Shodashi. Tripura Sundari is the, like, even when we, in the Shakta Kula, we break down the Devatas into the Kali Kula and the Sundari Kula. So Sundari represents, or Sundari is the Tripura Sundari. So 5 Devatas, okay, amongst the Dasha Mahavidyas fall under the Sundari Kula or Sundari Krama, and 5 Devatas fall under the Kali Kula or the Kali Krama. So Sundari represents the Srishti Pradhanatva, whereas the Kali represents the Samhara Pradhanatva amongst the Shakta tradition. So Tripura Sundari, Tripura Sundari, these are the 2 components of the Nama. Sundari is from the one that which is the most charming or the pleasing element. Tripura. Pura means the place of where something resides. Okay. So Tripura, where 3 things reside. That which is the source or that which is the repose of 3. What are the 3? I think we have seen in some of the earlier namas also in detail. When we take the Laghustavi, we have a stotra wherein the author Laghubhattaraka makes a list of almost every possible triumvirates that exist in the world. He says, anything that exists as 3, O Devi, is your own manifestation. The most known ones that we can quickly recall is Jnata, Jnana, Jneya. The whole world can be categorized amongst the 3. Either it is an object of cognition, or he is the subject of cognition or the cognizer, and the process by which the cognizer and the cognized is connected. That is cognition itself. So Jnana, Jnata, one who knows, Jneya, the object. You can encompass the entire cosmos in these 3 categories. So she is Tripura. So she resides, or one who is present as the Jnata, Jnana and Jneya. Second, when we speak of the 3 Kuta, okay, of the mantra itself, that is the Vagbhava Kuta, the Kamaraja Kuta, the Shakti Kuta. This we discussed in the previous session when we are dealing with the Bala mantra itself. Okay. So the first Kuta is the Vagbhava Kuta. The second, Vagbhava stands, when we look into the explanation for the meaning of the mantra in Varivasya Rahasya of Bhaskar Raya, he gives close to 20 plus meanings of that entire mantra. Nigarbhartha, Rahasyartha, Kaulikartha, and so on. The 3 represents, that is the Vagbhava Kuta, represents the stage of the creation. The Kamaraja Kuta represents the state of sthiti or status, and the Shakti Kuta represents the stage of laya and things that follows the laya. So graha, what follows graha is anugraha. So Tirodhana is the very first. Okay, only when there is a complete wheeling, the Srishti, Chiti, Samhara and Anugraha takes place. So it represents, the 3 Kutas represents the 3 stages of the process of creation itself. So she is the one who makes this, or who is manifested herself in these three forms. Therefore, she is Tripura. So like this, there are multiple interpretations for the word Tripura. Sundari, that one who is the essence of the three. She is Tripura Sundari, one who is the essence of the three. The physical meanings of Tripura Sundari is one who is the most charming person in the three worlds. That is the gross or the surface level meaning of the word Tripura Sundari.
In Kashmir, she used to be the Ishtadevi of Tiku clan, Tripura. Tripura was a very important Ishtadevi among Kashmiri Pandits of Tiku clan.
Yes, Razanga, because Kashmir has been, and it has been acknowledged by scholars as old as 12th century. We have one text by name Mahartha Manjari. It is written by Maheshwaranandanatha. He was from the South India. He wrote that book from a place by name Chidambaram in Tamil Nadu, which is the Dakhra Sabha or the Chit Sabha of Lord Nataraja himself. He says that Srividya Sampradaya starts or originated in Kashmir. He says Kashmira Deshodbhavatvat, because this Sampradaya started in Kashmir. And Srividya is Tripura Sundari Upasana only. Even though the other Vidyas and Mahavidyas are there, but they don't occupy a prominent position. The prominent position is that of Tripura Sundari only. So it is quite natural that she is the Kuladevata for many of the families in Kashmir.
Achha, Tiku clan, by the way, Tiku clan, they say Tiku is a Ababramsha of Trika. Trika, मतलब Trika का अपभ्रंश है ये क्लैन जो था ये त्रिक विद्या जानते थे, त्रिक का पूरा ज्ञान था, तो उनकी कुलदेवी जो है, उनकी जो इष्ट देवी है वो त्रिपुरा सुंदरी है, त्रिपुरा जिसको कहते हैं.
Okay.
So I get connected to these things. Tripura Sundari. Vrishapriya.
Vrishapriya. Vrishapriya, the next nama is Vrisharudha. The word Vrisha refers to bull.
Nandi.
So Vrishapriya means one who is fond of the bull. The next nama is Vrisha Arudha, one who mounts or one who rides on a bull. Now, what is a Vrisha? Vrisha is the representation, or Vrisha symbolizes dharma. We saw earlier also the Garuda, the Vahana of Mahavishnu, stands for Veda, the Jnana. Similarly, Vrisha stands for Dharma. Vrisho hi Bhagavan Dharma Smritaha. That is the statement in the Mahabharata. So Vrisha is Dharma. That is why even in later in the Puranic text like Bhagavatam, to show that in the Kali Yuga, the Dharma is standing on only 1 feet. No, the Dharma is represented as a cow there, but Vrisha is also Dharma only, or rather Vrisha is Dharma. And here I thought I should make one small observation. When we look into the Mula Agamas, the 28 Mula Agamas, there is a very clear distinction between Vrisha and Nandi. Today we interchange the names, or rather we use the word Nandi to refer to Vrisha. Vrisha is different from Nandi. Nandi is one of the, or the chief of the Pramatha Ganas. Nandi is the iconographical representation as per the Dhyana shlokas in most of the Agamas. Nandi is shown as having 4 hands, human figure, upper 2 hands sporting the tanka, that is the axe, okay, and the right top is the axe, the left top is Trishula. The next 2 hands are always shown in the folded position because he is ever in servitude of Sadashiva or Paramshima. Nandi is different deity in the Avarana Paddhatis also. Vrisha is treated as a separate Devata himself. So, when we use the term Nandi for Vrisha, it is not as per the Agama Sampradaya. Nandi is a different Devata himself. All right. So, Vrisha Priya, one who is fond of Vrisha, in the sense one who is fond of Dharma. Because it is through Dharma she establishes the order in the universe. The earliest usage of the word for Dharma in the Shruti is Rita. So when we say Ritagam Satyam Param Brahma, Rita is the cosmic order. Then later literature started using the term Dharma more and used the word Rita less. So anyway, Rita and Dharma are same. That which is responsible for the sustenance by maintaining the order in the entire cosmos. And she runs the entire universe through the order that she herself has stipulated in the Shruti. So she is obviously fond of Dharma, Vrisha Priya. Vrisha Arudha, two ways of looking. One who is mounted on the Vrisha, in the sense that she drives the Dharma. She drives or she propels Dharma in the society. The other is one who forms the substratum for Dharma. For even Dharma to hold, there should be something that the Dharma holds. And that something is nothing but Parachit, which is represented by Devi. So, Vrisharuda. So, Vrishapriya, Vrisharuda.
Mahishasuragatini.
Mahishasura Ghati. Artha is very simple. One who Ghatini, one who killed or destroyed
Kills.
Mahishasura.
Mahishasura.
Mahishasura represents the Rajasika Ahankara of a sadhaka. Because when we read the Devi Mahatmya very closely, we will find that the Devi Mahatmya, though in the form of 3 sets of stories, first set speaks about the Madhukaitabhavada, the second set in the 3 Adhyayas speaks about the Mahishasuravada, the third set in 9 Adhyayas speaks about the Shumbha Nishumba and his army, the Vadha of Shumbha and Nishumba. It's battle everywhere, right from the first chapter till the end. It is battle and sequences preceding and succeeding the battles and stutis. These are the 13 adhyayas of Devi Mahatmya. But when we look at it as an adhyatmika text, we will find that it is very beautifully building up the case right from the first question, which the Suratha and Samadhi ask the Rishi, Sumedha, is how does a sadhaka find the eternal? So there are 8 questions that they ask Sumedha, and an answer to those 8 questions is the entire text. So in that context, when we see Mahishasura represents the Rajasika Ahankara aspect of the sadhaka. So Mahishasura Ghatini is one who destroys the Rajasika Ahankara of the sadhaka.
Of the devotee.
Shumbha Darpahara.
Shumbha Darpahara.
Shumbha is another. Shumbha and Nishumba. So they were Darpa means the pride. So Shumbha Darpa Hara, one who removed the pride of Shumbha. Because they also thought that they could not be conquered by anyone, to an extent that they send Sugriva as a Duta Devi to go and ask her to come and marry either Shumbha or Nishumbha. And obviously she refuses and the fight ensures. So one who destroys the Darpa of Shumbha, from a social narrative, one who showed that the sacred feminine is powerful enough to stand on its own leg. The other is the darpa. Darpa is the ahankara. And ahankara of the highest kind, that is the satvika ahankara. Because normally we say now, when you have the pride of, let's say, of good form, good looking physique and all those things, by the time we are old enough, we have already lost it. Because we know that we are going feeble and sort of. The pride of wealth goes away when the wealth itself leaves the person. But there are certain other prides which will never leave a person. Say, for example, the Vidya Ahankara, okay, or Vidya Garva. That will never leave, because a man, whatever he has learned, he is going to carry on till his last breath. And there are other, the Abhimana of the Jati, okay. There are other Abhimanas that doesn't leave. They belong to a very subtle kind of an Abhimana. So until unless that Abhimana, that Mamatva, because Shumbha and Nishumba stand for Ahanta and Mamata. Only when these two are destroyed, a final full stop to the Janma Marana Chakra can be in place. So she is the one who destroys the Ahanta and Mamata, represented by the Shumbha and Nishumba. Therefore, Shumbha Darpa Hara.
Hara. Shumbha Darpa Hara Deepta. Dripta.
Deepta.
Shumbha Darpa Hara Dripta.
Is it Deepta Mahara?
Dripta.
No, it's Dripta. Dripta.
Dripta, is it? Okay.
Shumbha Darpa Hara Dripta.
Okay.
Just
Dripta is, I'm not sure how this thing is.
Just. I'll let me extract the text.
Drupta.
Okay.
I think it is Sandhi here. Maybe it is Dripta. It is Sundaharad Dripta. You agree?
No, Hara till Hara is fine. But Dripta is somehow not.
No, is the like a samas here?
Yeah. I understand that the text is Dru only, no doubt about the text part. But from the Artha point of view, Dripta means, okay, Dripta means one who is puffed with pride. Okay. So when we take Dripta, it will mean that one who is proud. Okay, one who exhibits pride. Therefore, she is Dripta. Why pride? Not the sense of pride that we display because of external factors, but because of her own intrinsic qualities, the pride is reflected. So that is one. But I remember seeing the or using the form of Deepta when we used to do the Archana.
Deepta, that's what
Deepta, it is in my book, it is Deepta.
It's Deepta, that's why I was trying to see.
It's in my book, it is Deepta.
It is Deepta. In the other text, it is Deepta, yes. But here it is written as Dripta.
Here it is Dripta, okay.
Deepta,
so Deepta means one who is shining, ever shining, self-effulgent. One who is not, in sense, when we switch on the light, we are able to see a book. So the book is also shining in the sense it also becomes an object of our cognition. No, she is self-effulgent. She does not require any other prakasha to illuminate her. Therefore, she is Deepta.
It must be Deepta only because the other second following name is Deepta. Second is Deepta Pavak Sannibha.
Deepta Pavak Sannibha.
Shumbhadarpara Deepta Pavak Sannibha. It must be. I don't know. I don't know what
self-effulgent prakasha.
Self-effulgent.
Swayanjyoti Prakasha, as the Upanishad calls. There is one Brahmana itself in thing which is called as a Swayanjyoti Brahmana. So it does not require any other light to illuminate. It itself is that light by which everything else is known. So it is Deepta.
Jyoti Swayam Jyoti Atma Jyotmi Shos.
Exactly. Deepta Pavaka Sannibha. Sannibha, who resembles Deepta Pavaka, like the blazing fire. So one whose complexion is like the blazing fire, that is one way of looking at the Nama. But a more adhyatmika way of looking at the nama will be one who is the fire of knowledge, in which all the objects of cognition becomes like the ahuti, or in which they are all consumed. There is one very brilliant Atma Anusandhana shloka, which we are all taught in the parampara, which says Antar Nirantaram Anindhana Medhamane. That is, there is one fire inside all of us, which is Antaha, which is inside, Nirantaram, which is always present, and Nirindhana, just like the external fire requires firewood and other things, this does not require any indhana, does not require any fuel. Nirindhana and edhamana, it is always glowing, always blazing, in which the objects of cognition becomes the ahutis. In the sense, this represents Deeptapavaka Sannibha, means she is the Chidagni, the fire of consciousness, in which all the cognitions merge, because they have to originate, sustain themselves, and merge in the cognition itself. That is what in the Pratyabhijna Hridaya also Acharya Kshemaraja establishes in many multiple places. It is the source of origin. It is the place where the entire, she is the playground of the activity, and she is the where everything else comes to rest. So Deeptapavaka Sannibha.
Sannibha. Kapala Bhushana.
Kapala Bhushana. Next few namas represents the Kali. Okay. So like Tripura Sundari is the Srishti, Kali is the Samhara. And for Samhara, there are certain elements which have to be represented in her iconography. Like Kapala Bhushana. She is always shown having a Kapala, a skull in her hand. Okay, so Bhushana means ornament. She can have it anywhere, but normally represented with a Kapala in the hand. Not only, all the Bhairava Swarupas are also shown with a Kapala in the hand. What is the Kapala stand for? What is it that it stands for? Kapala stands for the highest form of, or the place where you can experience the highest bliss. That is why Kapala is always associated as a Panapatra, okay, as a drinking bowl. So wherein the Pana is referring to the Ananda, the bliss. So where do you experience bliss? The place where you experience bliss is the Kapala. How? We know the Brahmarandra is the place where through which the Jivatma enters, and when it exits, if the Yoga Marga is practiced properly, results in the experience of the Supreme Ananda. So it is a kind of a metaphor to represent the place of experiencing supreme pleasure or supreme Ananda. And who is or how can one have that? Until unless one is completely stripped of all the vikalpas, of all the thought constructs that he has built, he cannot experience the highest Ananda. Because every time, if we are under the influence of vikalpa, which will happen when we are under the influence of the Trimalas, we will always, in every act of cognition, associate meanings to the cognition. For example, I will never see a book as a mere book as it is. I will always see the book as, what does this book stand for me? Do I want it? Do I don't want it? Or am I indifferent to it? So, like this, for every cognition, we associate a story. And this story is because of the Purva Samskaras that each one is embedded with. So until we are completely stripped of all the vikalpas, one cannot experience the highest bliss. So that is shown in the form of the severed head or the which results in the Kapala. So Kapala Bhushana, the highest form of bliss experienced by the stripping of all the Vikalpas. Next is Kali, one who is the measure of time, one who is beyond time, and in whom the spatio-temporal relationship have no meaning at all. So in the Srishti, the space and time play a very, very important factor. Because if we have to speak of any experience, the experience is always with a referent to a place and a time. For example, I saw you. So this is an experience that I have. Me seeing someone is always associated seeing where and seeing when. Always the sense of space and the time is automatically interlinked. That is why the space and time are connected very, very intrinsically, to an extent that even physics accepts that the time is the fourth dimension of the space. In the Samhara, when you have to go beyond or you have to go away from the Srishti, the space and the time should have or should not exist. So that will happen, or that aspect is represented by the entire Swarupa of Kali. Her entire Swarupa, when we see, it shows one who is gone beyond time by removing all the associated ideologies which results in a samsara. That is why she is depicted as not wearing any clothes, because cloths are avarana, cover or veil. So for moksha upaya, one has to become niravarana. Okay, so she is called as a nirvana Kali. Okay, nirvana is where you have no wheels. Okay, so it is beyond or going beyond the wheel. Similarly, all the symbologies of Kali, her dark dresses, the loosened hair, and everything else, there is a symbology which speaks about going beyond the creation, going beyond the Srishti. In especially in the when we take many of the stotras of let's say of Kala Sankarashini, we'll find even more the depth of this symbolization in them. So anyway, Kali is the one who is time embodied and one who is beyond time. Kalanath Kala. Okay, Kala is that which which is responsible for calculation. And calculation happens when there is categorization. Categorization is during Srishti. So one who is beyond Srishti. So she is Kali.
Kapala Malabharini. Maladharini.
Mala Harini.
Kapala Malabharini.
So the skull garland that she wears around her neck stands for the 51 Matrikaksharas. So it is called as the Mundamala. Mundamala has 51 skulls, each representing one letter of the Sanskrit Varnamala. So when we speak of Kali as Kapala Mala Bharini, or one who wears the Mundamala, it means that the words or the matrikas in the Srishti results in giving a concrete shape to the thoughts and ideas which are there in the form of the para and the Pashyanti level. So only in the Madhyama and the Vaikhari level, the letters, okay, their sequence, their arrangements and everything else. So when we strip the aksharas of this functioning, they become like Kapala, like how when you when a face loses its skin and all the other things, it is left with only the skeleton. So the 51 letters are represented by the 51 skulls in the garland worn by Kali. Kapala Mala Bharini. Kapala Kundala. She wears the Kapala on her ears also. So there are certain other representations where she wears two corpses in the ear, Shava Kundala or Kapala Kundala. Whether it is Shava Kundala or Kapala Kundala, when we look into the text, it says Nigama Agama Akhya Shava Kundala Dvaya Dharini. Whereas the Shruti and the Agama, okay, that is the Vedas and the Agamas are the two Kapalas or the corpses which she wears as an ear ornament. Why? Both the Vedas and the Agamas represents the knowledge bodies. That is why she wears them on the ears, because ours is a oral tradition. Ours is a Shruti Parampara. We never gave too much of importance on writing or written representation. That was much later. But earliest thing is that it is a oral tradition. Even now, the correction is done for the written based on the oral, not the other way around in the Shruti. Okay, so Shruti, that which is heard. So Jnana itself is represented as Karna Parampara Agatam. That which has come from, that is by listening to the teacher. Okay, so listening through the ears. So Karna Parampara. Okay, so Karna, on her ears, she has worn the Agama and the Shruti. In the sense, in the state of moksha, the Shruti or the Jnana represented by the Shruti are no longer useful for understanding, because like Bhagavad Gita says, Traigunya Visayaha Vedaha Nistraigunyo Bhava Arjuna. The Vedas are once again Traigunya Vishayaha. They also speak of things which is which centers around the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, which is centering around the Trigunas. But the moksha is a state wherein we go beyond these three qualities. Nistraigunyo Bhava. So, in the state of moksha, the jnana represented by these most authoritative bodies of knowledge, that is the Veda and the Agama, are no longer functional directly. They are upaya till they help us take to that point. After we reach that point, they no longer serve any purpose. This is like a ladder. Ladder is useful for us till we reach the roof. Once you have reached the roof, there is no use for the ladder, assuming that we are not going to come down. So Kapala Kundala, one who wears the Nigama and Agama, that is the Shruti and the Agamas, in her ears as the two Kapalas. That is wherein these two knowledge bodies no longer serve any practical purpose for a Mumukshu or a Mukta. Not even for Mumukshu. For a Mukta, they don't serve any purpose.
Shivaduti.
Shivaduti. Okay. Dirgha, no? There is one Nama Dirgha.
Kundala, Dirgha. Yes.
Dirgha.
Kundala, Dirgha. Yes.
Dirgha. One which is lengthy, one which is long. Okay, that is Dirgha. That is of colossal size, of huge magnitude. She is called as Dirgha because the word, for example, in the Shruti, the word is Brahman. That is the term which is used. Comes from the dhatu Bruh, that which is big, that which is large. Similarly, when we call her as Dirgha, means one who is huge, humongous. It just emphasizes the point that one cannot restrict the Devata to any particular size, form, place, etc. Because she is omnipresent. She is present everywhere. Therefore, she is represented by, or she is called by the words like Dirgha or Brahman. That which is huge, that which is big. Because there is no limitations for her. She cannot be confined to any space. Dirgha. Shivaduti.
Shivaduti.
once again, we have to go back to Devi Mahatmya only. Here, during the Shumbha-Nishumba Vada, the Devi Shivaduti is manifested from Durga, and she sends Shiva as a messenger to Shumbha and Nishumba, asking them to surrender or become a prey to her wrath. So Shiva goes and is unsuccessful. He comes back, and then the war ensures. So the text says, because she appointed Shiva as a messenger. Okay, Dautyena niyuktaha Shivaha. Shiva was appointed as a Duta, as a messenger. The Devi came to be called as Shivaduti. In the Swarupa, she resembles the Kali of Saptashati. Okay, so Shivaduti is a Devata Visesha which Saptashati speaks of. Shivaduti.
Yes.
Okay, so how do we? Okay, this is one. The other is that Shivaduti. What is the function of a messenger? The messenger has to appropriately and correctly put forth the idea that has been conveyed to him to the other person. That is one who aptly describes the intention of one speaker to the listener. Devi is called as a Shivaduti because it is through her that we, the sadhakas who are still under the influence of the Trimalas, will be in a position to firmly establish ourselves in the path of sadhana. So that is why our Sampradaya always emphasizes that the very first stage has to be Diksha, and Diksha is nothing but bringing the Shiva Anugraha Shakti by the Guru to the Sishya. So it is only through Shakti that we will be able to see Shiva. Directly we will not be able to approach Shiva. So it is only through the Shakti. Even in Vijnana Bhairava, in the initial shlokas, we have this idea very clearly articulated. So she is the one through whom we can understand. Or in other contexts, Vimarsha Shakti is like the mirror in which the Prakasha is reflected. So even to know Prakasha, we require Vimarsha. So she is that which helps us to even recognize, or rather even Prakasha to recognize itself as a Prakasha. So she is Shivaduti.
Ghanadhvani.
Ghanadhvani. Ghana means thunder. Dhvani, the sound. So one whose sound or whose voice resembles the deep rumbling of a cloud, of a thunder. This is at the level. But normally, when we in the literature, when we speak of Ghana, when we speak of the dark clouds, we have automatic description of peacocks. We have the description of something called chakora. Okay, chakora is a bird which drinks directly from when it rains. It will not drink water from any other water source like ponds, rivers, however clean that water may be. It will wait for the rainy season and drink only when it rains. Whereas peacock is that which welcomes the rain because of certain, let's say, because it is fond of the rains, okay, or even biologically speaking, because it symbolizes the onset of the mating season for the peacock and other factors. This shows that Devi, in her aspect, is common for all. There is no pakshapata from Devi herself. But depending on the quality of the sadhaka, there may be sadhakas who are tivra mumukshus like the chakora bird. They will want only for the divine experience. They are craving only for the divine experience. There are other sadhakas who take delight because of the other benefits that comes out of sadhana. This is what Bhagavan says when he lists the Chaturvidaha Bhaktaha Mam Bhajanti. When he says there are 4 types of bhaktas. Okay, there is Arthi, Artharthi, Jignasu, and Jnani. Arthi is one who wants something from the Ishtadevata. Sorry, Arthi. Arthi is one who is suffering from something and he wants remedy. Artharthi, he wants certain benefits. Jignasu, one who is curious to know. Final is Jnani, one who is already realized. Therefore, he is a bhakta. So, but the Devata Swarupa itself is common. It is not functioning separately for these 4. But it is depending on the mental volition of the sadhaka that the benefits occurring show the gradations. For a jnani, the benefits are different. For an jignasu, the benefits are different. For an arti, it is different. And artharthi, it is different. So, like that, so she is that common element which pleases people as per their temperament. So, Ghanadhvani.
Ghanadhvani. Siddhida, Buddhida.
Siddhida, one who bestows all siddhis. We have seen many namas earlier also. So, one who bestows success is Siddhi. Buddhida, one who bestows intelligence is Buddhida. Now, just how do the Shastras describe the Devatas coming to rescue or coming to help of a sadhaka? Because normally when we are taken by the narratives, as the TVs and the commercials and the movie narratives, we have the Devatas coming there and destroying the demons or the others on behalf of the devotee. Doesn't happen. The Shastra is very clear. It says, see, Na devaha dandamadaya rakshanti pashupalavat. The devas don't come and protect the devotees, just like the cowherd will follow the herd of cows and protect having a stick in his hand. Dandamadaya na rakshanti. But if they wish to save someone, if they wish to rescue someone, yam tu rakshitum icchanti. If they want to save someone, what will they do? Buddhya samyojayanti tam. All they will do is they will give him the sadbuddhi. And using that sadbuddhi, one comes out of that situation. This is how the Devatas come to rescue. By ensuring that we have the right critical apparatus of thinking to come out of the situation. So when we say that Devi is Siddhida and Buddhida, it is her anugraha which is coming in the form of the buddhi which results in the siddhi. So she is Siddhida and she is Buddhida.
Nitya.
Nitya.
Buddhida.
Eternal.
Nitya.
Nitya is eternal.
Eternal. Satyamarga Prabodhini.
Satyamarga Prabodhini.
Satyamarga Prabodhini.
The path shown by Devi is the Satyamarga, the path of truth. Why? Because her essential nature itself is Sat is her Swarupa. When we say Sat, Chit and Ananda, Sat being her Swarupa, existence as it is her Swarupa. How can the paths laid down by her be anything other than Sat? That is why the Shruti or the Agama the path shown by the Shruti and the Agamas are the highest truthful paths because they have come directly from the Devata Vishesha themselves. And they being perfect in their knowledge, the path also reflects only that perfection, that Satyata in all means. So Satya Marga Prabodhini, one who shows nothing other than truthful or truth or the appropriate thing in as a path for the sadhana.
Kambugriva.
Kambugriva. Okay, Kambu is the conch, Shankha. So Griva, neck. One whose neck resembles the Kambu, the Shankha. Why? When we see that Shankha, the formation of the Shankha towards the place where we blow, if we see it extends from being broader to it narrows down. Not only that, there we will see 3 valayas, okay, 3 rings in the conch. Normally, according to the Samudrika Lakshana, which is a Shastra which says that how a perfect man and a woman has to be. And it says that only, and depending on the existence of those physical characteristics, their nature, okay, and other things are predicted in that Shastra. So, the Uttamottama Stri Lakshana in the Samudrika Shastra says that she will have the Kambugriva. That is, there will be 3 lines in her in the neck region. Okay, one who displays 3 lines in the neck region. So this is at the physical thing. But what is it? Neck is or the throat is the place of articulation of sound. The sound that we hear is the Vaikhari. Vaikhari preceded by the Madhyama, preceded by Pashyanti, because for Para there is no representation possible because Para is nothing but Parachit itself. So the 3 lines represents the Pashyanti, Madhyama and the Vaikhari Vak, okay, in that throat region. They are all symbolism.
कहाँ पहुंचे? सत्यमार्ग प्रबोधिनी, कुंभग्रीवा, वसुमती. Kumbhagriva.
Kambugriva is over. I missed out. Vasumati. Okay. Vasumati. Vasu means riches, wealth. I think we came across very similar nama 2, 3 things. So Vasumati is one who holds the wealth or one who holds the riches within herself.
Chhatrachaya Kritalaya.
Chhatrachaya Kritalaya. Okay. This is a very this thing. Chhatra means umbrella. Chaya means shade. Krita Alaya, one who resides under the umbrella. So, when we take Lalita Sahasranama, the first nama is Shri Mata, second is Maharagni, third is Srimat Simhasana Ishwari. So, Maharagni Srimat Simhasana Ishwari represents her as the supreme or the sovereign of the universe. And in our Sampradaya, the sovereignty is represented by a white umbrella. That is why, to show that he is an emperor, he is called as a Chhatrapati. Okay, one who has the entire land under single umbrella. Okay, just to signify that umbrella is held over. And there are lakshanas for the Chhatra also. Okay, what color, how should the danda be, and all that. So one who is the sole empress of the universe. So that is one way of looking at that nama. But another very interesting aspect that Nandikeshwara is revealed by Shiva in this nama is that Chaya Chhatra. When we speak of the 51 Pithas, see, there are certain Nyasas: Ganesha, Graha, Nakshatra, Yogini, Rashi, and Pitha. These are the 6 Nyasas which a sadhaka has to perform. So there is a Ganesha Nyasa, Graha Nyasa, nakshatra nyasa. So there is one nyasa by name Pitha nyasa. Pitha nyasa is nothing but 51 Shakti Pithas. They the nyasa of those pithas are done in one's sharira. Nyasa is nyas, to place. They are placed in one's own sharira because this sharira itself is sufficient not to look out for any other place. So, but that is a later stage of spiritual advancement. So, to reach that stage, all these sadhanas have to be there. One has to start from, like how we saw previous, that one has to start from the Bahir Yaga, only then we can go to the Antar Yaga. Okay, so Chaya Chhatra is the last Pitha. The 51st Pitha is Chaya Chhatra. Oh, sorry, 50th Pitha. 50th Pitha is the Chaya Chhatra. So Chaya Chhatra Kritalaya. The one who resides in the, see, we have already seen the Kamarupa, we have seen the Jalandhara, okay, we have seen the Purnagiri. Those were the various other Pithas. Chaya Chhatra is the last amongst the 50 Pithas here. So instead of directly saying as Chaya Chhatra, to give these possibilities of two kinds of interpretation, the Nama is given as Chhatra Chaya Kritalaya. Otherwise, Chaya Chhatra Kritalaya means one who resides in the Chaya Chhatra Pitha also.
Jagat Garbha.
Jagat Garbha, one who holds the entire universe in her Garbha, in her womb. Jagat Garbha.
Garbha means womb. Kundalini.
Mara will take this up next class. Because from this onwards, there are next few namas are about the Kundalini.
Right.
Yeah, we will stop here. Kundalini, we will take it next Saturday.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Shikhar.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. Namaskar, beta. Namaskar. Namaskar ji. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, beta. Namaskar.
Namaskar ji. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nancy, put up one. Nancy, put up one. Gosh, Kusus. Suppressor.
Hello, namaskar. Yeah. Krishna Bhagwan, sir. Okay, okay, I saw those. Yeah.